I thought that you might like to ask a few questions, so we're going to do questions just a sec. We'll do, what time is it?
Yeah, it's 9.
Oh yeah, that's grand. So we'll do a bit of questions and answers. So if anybody'd like to, if anyone would like to, would anyone like to ask a question or say anything? You next. David, will you pass it to that man next? Yeah. Oh yeah. Or you.
I just offer an MS voice if you like. So I've got PPMS, which is your primary progressive no treatment, no cure deal. That's what they tell you, and that's what conventional medicine tells you. I'm actually wearing this is my post chemo hair. Looking fantastic. And,
well done.
And that's because I went to Russia for another unapproved treatment. So this is just and that's for stem cell therapy that I went, that also has Irish people going over and backwards to Russia that have to do this at great expense and do all these things. I also have lived in Barcelona for 15 years. I'm a comedy promoter. I was out there and promoting no less than Mr. Nice the night that the first Cannabis Cafe was opened in Barcelona. So I've always been in touch with Barcelona and what's happening in Barcelona with medical cannabis, and this is a no-brainer. It's been I've lived in most of my life. This is my first time back in Ireland in 20 years almost, and I'm back by default. I've been living all my life in places where funny enough, it's always been legal, all these things. So I've never even questioned them. But when you come back to Ireland, you see the ridiculousness. And this story over here, where cancer people are being denied medical cannabis. What do you call Father Ted's son?
Oh yeah, Morgan.
Ben Morgan, another guy who's kind of an advocate for medical cannabis because it got him through. You were talking about putting weight on when you're in your real trouble where you need to get your weight on, and so these are all real issues. And I only wanted to I'm only really adding a voice that everybody has to come out, So the Longford leader are here taking photographs, but everybody has to be seen and have your picture taken in the Longford leader with your name underneath it, and everybody's got to come out, just like it's, all we're doing is evolving here, this is evolution, and it's actually happened. It's happened in quite a few European countries before Ireland, and Ireland is playing really slow catch up here, and they need to cop yourselves on, and everybody get behind a movement here. You've got an amazing front table here of people that can all speak so eloquently and real passion behind what is a very, very straightforward idea and a principle that this is medicine, and so make it medicine, and
make it happen.
Make it happen. Right on. Thank you.
Sorry, I want everyone to just listen for a second. Either turn to your left or right, depending on where you are in the room. Just look at the person beside you. Whether they're your friend, whether they're your partner, whether it's somebody that you've just met tonight. Think about their situation. If you woke up tomorrow and seen them in this chronic pain, how would you feel? How would you feel? Would it break your heart? Honestly, it would. I watched my brother, I heard my brother died out in a foreign country and he never came home, and it broke my heart. When Kenny went out to Spain, I was pestering him on Facebook every fucking day. Come home to your family. I want you home. I got on mainstream Facebook in that Glone. I went down to Bundoran. I went all around any place I could just to get his name out there so as people would listen. He shouldn't have to do that. Vera Twomey's daughter shouldn't have had to do that. Nobody should have it. When you are sick, the first people that should be at your side is your family. I don't care about anybody else. If you haven't got them, then you have nobody. And that's the way I look at it. And in this room, I have my wife down there, I have my friends down there, and I can guarantee you, if my kids woke up this morning and said to me, Daddy, I'm sick, I've got a brain cancer, can we get this treatment? I would bend over backwards.
Absolutely.
And I would go through anyone with a bulldozer. With all my heart, I fight for them to live. Because that's all we want, is our kids to live. and for them to be happy. And Kenny, I want to see him raise his family. And
Yep.
Vera Twomey's daughter, I've seen her faces on Facebook, and I've seen the work you've done, and I'm delighted to say that child has a quality of life. Every
Absolutely.
child should have that quality of life. They came into this world, they're innocent, they've done nothing wrong. Why should they be classed as criminals?
Yeah.
Why? Ask yourself, are they faceless people? No, they're human beings. Human beings need to be saved. Lives need to be saved. So I'm going to say this. Simon says,
This and that.
give Kelly's.
Medicine back.
Thank you, I just lost my front tooth by the way.
Well done.
I won't go over too much old ground, but I just want to say, as somebody that's woke up in the last 4 or 5 years, I came into this originally over water. And when we stood up and didn't recognise the uniform and looked and always remembered, no disrespect to the Garda Síochána, they're somebody's sons, they're somebody's daughters, they're somebody's fathers, they're somebody's mother. Don't be afraid of the uniform, not when you're standing for what's right. And a little thing I have to say, we have to shift an awful lot of blame back to ourselves. Because when we do criticise governments, we are the people that has the power every 5 years. And on another note, when we refused, myself and my friend, to back down from a judge, they took me taxi licence off me, and the first time in my life, I hadn't a problem going to Clover Hill. And that gentleman, I wouldn't even call him a TD, because he's an amazing character. Him and others came in to see me. And when I first met what he stands for, it was no surprise to me that Kenny walked with Vera Twomey every step of the way. This is a TD, when they're out and they're counting their monies and they're figuring out their entitlements when the like previous politicians and leaders, it's all about their entitlements. That man is elected and he's passionate in what he believes in. There's a lot of his own, but you know something, people, we have some amazing TDs in the Dáil, and we have to get up. And you know what's going to change all this? The mothers of Ireland will change it. Because
Yep.
it's enough is enough. That man is even fighting for his life. It's no big deal. Once you do it, the first time water protest, I was like that 5 years ago. And Sharon lets a roar at me, are you going on the road? And I did, and I have never looked back. But the people are amazing. Don't mind the squabbling and the backbiting, and everything is a distraction. Don't let there be a distraction. It's from wrong prices. Now, I finish off on a note. There's a government minister in there, and she's a female, and she's involved. She was a former chemist. Simon Harris's wife's father has one of the biggest chemist shops, as well as being landlords and all. Look at the decent people, the people that are elected, the like of Gino, and Gino's bill has to succeed. He says it's not Gino's bill, but they're stalling it. But I wonder if he had been a Fine Gael, which is more sense, but if he had been a Fine Gael TD, oh, they'd be pushing it through life. But you know what? We're classed in this country. There's left, there's right, or your middle ground. I'm not involved with any party. And there's no left in the country, and there's no right. There's a citizens' war, and the lesser well-off in society, you can only sit in one chair. 4,000 children homeless, and that woman, the two mothers, put through what they're through. You know, we have to wake up, and this is a people's country. Use your vote wisely, and remember the people that's going to. Nobody is listening to the people. That man was there the way to listen to the people, and there's other great ones like him. Don't be afraid. Just stand up for what's right.
I'd just like to say something. The night of the People of the Year awards, you know, I was down at the back of the hall, and Leo walked in. And I was talking to this girl, and I don't even know what her name was now again, but I said, I'm going to have to go over to him. And so she said, "You're not." And I said, "I am." And I went over and I said, "Leo, what are you going doing about the money message?" Well, no, actually, first I said, "Hello, I'm Vera. Nice to meet you."
Like he didn't know.
And well, he mightn't.
Right, you can say that.
And I said, "What are you going to do about the money message? And what are you going to do about the legislation for medical cannabis?" And he turned his shoulder into my face, and like that when I was at this side, he put his hand out and he said, that bill is completely flawed, it's going nowhere.
What?
That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
And you know something, it's just like what Eamon said. He tried to make me feel small.
You took the smile off his face, woman, again. It was over.
And you know something? He succeeded. He made me feel small there inside the door with his fine clothes and his Dublin accent and everything. But you know what?
His posh accent. Posh accent, darling.
That's okay, because when I went back and sat down at the table, I said to myself, I'm sorry, no, but I said, I'm more important than that.
Yes, you are, Vera. Absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to say. That like these fellas, they'll try and make you feel small, because when you feel small, you've no power.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
what?
No.
You walk away from that and you say, well, do you know what? I'm important.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
have a right to get my medication for my cancer back. We had a right to not have to leave
The country.
Ireland to get the medication.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying to you is, when you pick up the phone and you know you've got to maybe go and collect kids in a half an hour, or there's washing to be done, or there's jobs to be done, and you're saying, geez, I don't know, well, is this much good? Well, it is. It is. Every single person, because like when I went up to him and he tried to make me feel small, you're not small, you're important. And everybody's opinion is important, and everybody's contribution is important. And when we contribute, and when we keep trying, and when we keep pushing, that's when we're going to get legislation for medical cannabis, because nobody should be made to feel small for wanting a solution to their pain, whatever condition it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vera.
Yeah. Just pass.
Thanks. Johnny Keenan, awfully good vibes. It's more than a county, it's a state of mind. Just remember that. So we hope to have you in awfully soon enough, lads, for this particular campaign. Vera, just as the People of the Year Awards, which was brilliant for you, I felt compelled to send a tweet to Leo that night, and it's my penned tweet. It's, Leo, what were you laughing at when Vera was addressing you?
Yeah.
The country
Absolutely.
wants to know, and I sent that tweet to Morning Ireland, followed by power to the peaceful, because peaceful people are reasonable people,
Yes.
and most people that are associated with cannabis movement are very peaceful, intelligent, forward people. So a lot of people liked that tweet, but Leo once again didn't get back. There's an arrogance with that government. I just want to make a few points. I'm a long-term cannabis activist. Basically, as Gino's bill got through the first two stages, as it is now, there's an Oireachtas committee. Like, you brought the bill, it got past two stages, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Fianna Fáil abstain again?
No, Fianna Fáil supported it.
Supported it, they all supported it. So everyone supported this bill. Sinn Féin supported it, all the independents, obviously. Because I remember Ming's first bill, which is a little bit different, but along the same ilk. That's 8 TDs voted for it. They were all independents. So the party whip was put out for all those parties back then. That was 2013. Gino's bill 2015. To fast forward all this, like Ming started all this in 97. So think about it. This is happening. So now the momentum is taking place. Vera Twomey has literally blown the lid off it with what you've done for everybody. Because it's not stoners anymore. It's real women like Vera, real women like Hazel, real men like Kenny. And I just want to say, what the fuck are Fine Gael doing if you brought in the members' bill and you're not in that committee? Can you answer that question as well? Why come you're not on that committee? For whoever decides. Hazel, the woman with the 2 pharmacies, she's on that committee. She's leading it up. I think it's been used as a political football. To be honest with you.
That's what they're good at.
And they're kicking it down the road, and the whole thing is that the Irish people apparently have the mind of a goldfish. We forget stuff every 15 seconds later. But I can tell you, most people that are into cannabis don't forget things in a hurry. The short-term memory mightn't be great, but the long-term memory is very, very short indeed. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. So, Gino, I want to know why you're basically outside of a committee when you should be leading that committee. That'd be the most important question. And then, sorry, bear with me, and I'm conscious of everyone wanting to say something. I was in Athlone on Sunday, supporting Kenny's march. 300 people walked from the castle in Athlone to St Mary's Square. Now, if anyone knows that, 500, I beg your pardon, sorry, I was listening to RTE. That's RTE. And Citizen Main Media as well, figure that one out. Okay, so the 500 people walked from the castle in Athlone to the St Mary's Square. That was straight through the heart of Athlone on a Sunday afternoon on a bank holiday. Not one Garda, and everyone knew this was happening. This has been organised by Hazel and Kenny and all their supporters around the Midlands. And Michael, fantastic organisation, and Michael has his own story as well to tell. There's an awful lot of people that I met on that march that had their own story to tell. They came from Kerry, Ennis, Belfast, and they just felt like criminals. And they were just inspired by people like Kenny and Vera and Hazel. And Ming was there that day as well. But there wasn't one guard there. So we marshaled ourselves. We didn't stop traffic once, and everything ran like clockwork. And everyone went home. And we got some footage, and we got some photos, we got some video, we got some audio, but the national media were missing. And I think the national media are missing again here tonight. Okay, we have one. So what everyone does now, lads, we are the media. If you have a Facebook account, if you have a YouTube account, if you have a Twitter account, an Instagram, these people, it takes an awful lot for them to come. Vera Twomey left her family that she's just engaged with back again after 6 months of torture as hell, and that's it. Her fight is won. The game is over. She's won. No, she's up here for Kenny on Sunday. She's up here for Hazel tonight. She shouldn't have to be going anywhere. Everything, the country should be put in lockdown. Everyone has a story to tell. So we need to get to the Lister House tomorrow or next day as soon as possible. This momentum is at our attack. It can't go anywhere. We need to keep it going, folks. It's all about us, because we could be affected by what these guys have been affected for, and they're fighting for us. Vera Twomey has won her fight, but she still wants to fight for us. Come on! If she's doing it, we have to do it. So it is all about people power. So do it. Let's come on. Well done, lads.
And 7 licenses as well, by the way. That's 7 precedents. Okay? If you've given 7 licenses, that's 7 precedents.
Yeah.
So, it's a no-brainer.
How are you folks?
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike. Never give it up for Mike.
I kind of set up I more or less did set up the protest for Kenny and Athlone. Set up an online signature, a petition. And the petition is over 3,500 signatures so far. And I was going to take it down, I was going to stop it. And then I think it was this morning, I was thinking, I'll leave it up. Because people are still signing. So, I don't know, before that I never knew much about petitions or even staging a protest. I had no idea what I was doing. But I felt somebody had to do something. So I said, well, I may as well give it a shot. And I did. And I'm glad that the petition is still going up. And the protest was a huge success in Athlone. And I think that every town in Ireland should get up and stage their own protest.
Absolutely.
Because somebody said to me that we should go to Dublin and stage a huge protest. That's all good and well, but there's protests up there. People they look at the protests every day and they're like, what are they giving out about now? It's become commonplace now up in Dublin to see protests. They're protesting about everything. So I think that if it starts to mushroom up all around the country, in your own community.
Be like Longford. Be like Longford.
Yep.
Be like Longford.
But if it pops up in every county, and then we can have an enormous, huge protest in Dublin that will literally bring the city to a standstill, like we did over the water charges. That gentleman was talking about them.
But everyone was involved.
Yeah, I marched in them myself. I didn't
So
have
did
my
I.
health at the time. I don't have it now, but I was a lot worse back then. But I still marched because, look, we couldn't accept them charges. You know, they're still trying to, even to this day, they're still trying to get them in through a wastage fee. It's the country is a joke. We're all being screwed in one way or another.
But communities, that's where, like,
It has to start at home
But if-
with the cannabis, but it has to start in each county.
sorry to cut across you, but from all the people that's here that goes away, with whatever they take from the communities, when they talk to their neighbours, when they talk to their friends, it's the conversation and it's self-empowerment. Have a look at it. If you're on the internet, Uncle Google doesn't tell you any lies. It's simple, and it starts with people talking among themselves,
Exactly.
because it's about the people, for the people. The ladies are doing everything they can. As Vera says, she's not happy with 7 licenses. If there's 7,000 people that need it, it should be there.
Well, I mean, I heard Simon Harris himself say that it's available on compassionate grounds. Now, if Kenny Tynan's case is not compassionate grounds, then I don't know what is. To be fair,
Absolutely.
what constitutes compassionate grounds? A man with a brain tumour who's trying to live. If you can't have compassion over something like that, then you don't belong in government. It's as simple as that. All I want to say is that I think everybody in each respective county needs to get on their own TDs. It has to spread like a virus right through the country. And people in Ireland, I think, have become used to being trodden on the last 7-10 years. You know, the fight has kind of been kicked out, but now we're starting to come back. We're starting to say, do you know what? We're sick of this now.
Enough of this.
There's enough. It's non-stop. There's something new every day out of the government. A charge for this, a charge for that, right? And there's kids. I was featured on a program a number of weeks ago where there was kids with their spines coming through the skin on their back, right, with scoliosis, and they couldn't send them. They couldn't deal with them here. They didn't want to deal with them. They were going abroad, like they're going over the pond and all that. It's a joke, man.
Yeah.
It's time for change.
Time for massive change.
If they're not willing to, we all here, we have to do. We have to make a change. We're the people, and they're only up there because of us. Well, obviously, we didn't choose Leo. Leo went in by default.
Yeah.
So we had no choice.
Yeah.
But I'll sit down now.
You're done, Mike.
I think these people up here are just amazing people, right? Vera there, she comes from Cork. I mean, that lady came up from Cork on Sunday. You know, like in the blink of an eye, she was up. She was like a bullet.
Yep.
And they kept telling me that she wasn't coming at all. And when she showed up, then I was delighted. You know what I mean? And then we had Ming, and it's true about Ming as well. I had said that Ming has. I remember I was in my teens when Ming was campaigning, when cannabis was an even dirtier word. But now you see people are more with the internet and everything. People are more knowledgeable. People know more stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we're not back in 1950s Ireland anymore, and like that. We have a different aptitude. You know, we know things now. We know more than the government would probably like us to know.
Yeah.
And they
Absolutely.
have a problem with that, you see, because they know we're going to stand up to them now. But it's just that everybody's not as motivated, and this is exactly what needs to happen to get people motivated.
Well, if we can bring in same-sex marriage, surely to God we can bring in medicinal
It's
cannabis
time.
for
Look,
everybody.
the people want to move with the times.
not
As
policy.
Gino said, Fine Gael, right, are dragging their heels on this whole issue. And it's a money message, as Vera said. It's all about pharma to make money.
It's all about big
But
pharma.
you know what? I remember when the water charges were happening, right? And I don't want to be tossing out names, but our own president flew home of a Sunday to sign that bill into law. Now that has to tell you something. You know.
Our own president
The charges.
signed the bill into law on Christmas Day.
The Christmas Day, oh, sorry.
Dinner on our kids' regular Christmas dinners.
I'm on a medication right now as well has slowed me down a lot.
No.
But it just goes to show you, if they want to push something new through the legislation, like that,
They
through strokes
can.
of a pen,
Like they want that.
they've been dragging their heels on this issue for too long. So
Yeah.
I need to sit down now. Okay, thanks,
no,
folks.
Mike.
Cheers.
Thanks, Mike.
Anyone else?
Okay.
One
And
more.
then after this, well, does anybody else want to get in? Because I think we're going to have to kind
I'll
of.
just speak. I'll just speak.
No, work
Just
away, yeah.
in terms of there's a huge amount of there's anger and enthusiasm for change at the same time. In the last few years, we've seen people have mentioned the water charges there. That's the biggest social movement this country has ever seen. And at present, you can see my T-shirts. There's a huge upsurge of young women and the younger generation calling for finally rational choice on reproductive medicine. And it's not as visible for the obvious reasons, but the numbers involved are huge. And again, here we have another smaller issue. It is smaller, it affects less people, but as you can see, if there's this group of people in every town, the same place in Longford, that's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people. The key is organisation, really, If you look back at the water charges, what really broke it was people getting organised, getting seriously organised, Don't fall for the Facebook illusion is all I'd say to you. Like, there's half-arse pages get set up and people who are not really serious, and there's people who actually are trying to possibly, disrupt movements. So if you are not from Longford here, we've been doing the same thing in Cavan. Get a core group of people together and just stick together, call meetings in public, do everything you can as much in public, and use your local media as much as you can, the radio, and there's even some small internet TV things around there. But organisation is the key. If you're not from Longford here, try and do the same in your own town the next time. It's happened at Long. Emmett's been doing some stuff in Cavan. We'll do another load in Cavan once the 8th Amendment gets passed. And I hope I'll just finish with just keep that one in mind. It's a very serious medical issue as well, and people need to have choice.
Do you want me to come back?
Hmm?
Do you want this is
Back on that.
Yeah.
Shall I come back? Is anybody else? Because I'd rather hear from people in the audience rather than me. No.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
You want to take the microphone?
Yeah. 'Cause I can come back at the very end.
I just want to say that it's a privilege to be here tonight to listen to you all speak, and I've just come from the 8th Amendment meeting in the Longford Arms, the launch of Together for Yes, and I want to thank the Mothers of Ireland, Hazel, Vera, the likes of Vicky Phelan, the women who are standing up to take back what has been taken from us for so long. And just on a practical level, if you could put up something maybe that we can know the best way forward to support you in getting your medicinal cannabis approved for you, because I don't want to leave here tonight. I'm blessed that my children are healthy today, but that's just for today. And I'm really glad that I've been in these 2 meetings tonight, because I'm not going to be quiet anymore. And I have to say, I watched Simon, I watched Leo laugh after you spoke, and I was so ashamed of him. He should have been ashamed of himself, and I don't know who that guy was that was sitting beside him, but it was horrendous to see their attitude. And you truly are heroes in my eyes, and I have to say to you, you've inspired me tonight. I'm not going to be quiet anymore either.
Do you want me to come back? Just on John's. Oh yeah, sorry.
Just in relation to the speed at which the laws can be changed, I don't know if anybody else knows about it. A couple of years ago, there was one day that they realised where drugs, ecstasy, MDMA were all legal for a day, and that was changed instantly in a day to rectify the situation. So this business of holding up a bill to stop it from progressing is just political game playing. We're being played. They're playing us for food. Vera was talking about making phone calls, ringing your TDs. They've got offices as well. Go into their offices, they hold clinics, go in and plague them, torture them, tell them that you want this changed, and they listen when they get tortured long enough. That's...
We'll just come back. Just obviously, it's a great amount of people here tonight, and it's a great encouragement to see people kind of really determined to do things, because the stakes are quite high. Just on the issue of the law, I mean, the law is it's broken on this issue, and sometimes, you know, bad laws need to be fixed, and you need to break laws to actually make good laws, and that's been common across the world, across kind of every generation. And this law on the prohibition of cannabis is literally outdated, and they know it. Everybody knows it, but they don't know what the next step is. And the next. Sorry. Yeah, there's fears, but you know, you see, you know, here tonight and across the country, people want, you know, to see this issue move forward, right? There's no doubt about it, right? And that's very important. One of the more important things is like, what do we do next, right? Because this is going on for the last 2 years, and I would suggest, if the least you can do is email your local TDs here, because it can be effective, and then phone calls to your local TDs, anything that you can see that, you know, progressing this kind of debate on, because what it really comes down to is, while the government stall on the legislation, people are dying and people are suffering needlessly, and that's where it comes down to. So that's what we got to do collectively. Just on John's point about the health committee, it's very, very kind of, the doll can be a bubble sometimes, but very interestingly, the health committee is made of TDs across all parties, and I'm not on it. So the health committee rejected our bill last summer, and they made a report from that bit from the bill. They said that unanimously, they said the bill shouldn't go any further. Now, we ran amok in the Dáil when that happened. I called the place a kip.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, and he went mad. Just one word, I called it a kip, but you have to put that in context. So, when we forced the debate on the report of the bill, guess what happened? They all capitulated. The parties capitulated, like Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin, which is good. They saw the merits that there's you know, the bill should go further. So, you know, while things drag on, this could have been legislated like 6 months ago. Really could. And it's not all the realms of craziness or, you know, absurdity that suddenly, you know, medical cannabis can be legislated for. This is happening across the world. What they need to do, and this is where it comes down to technicalities, they need to do is get cannabis and reschedule it into Schedule 4. If you reschedule it into Schedule 4, then it's going to be declassified as like a drug that it's no medical benefit. And it has happened to a drug called Sativex. Sativex is a spray that's all. It's for sufferers of multiple sclerosis, so it's a spray. So it's made of 50% THC, which is the illegal part, and 50% CBD. So that was, because there's THC in it, it was rescheduled to 4. So these are the things, the technicalities. But as I said, on a very, very positive note, I think things are changing, and they're changing very, very quickly in this country in relation to this issue. It's not a taboo subject as it was, and people not like Luke would have been laughed off the park in some ways like a few years ago, but now like this is one of the national issues of our time. But I think we will get there. I'm very positive, a very positive outcome. I don't know when that will be. That's a kind of contradiction, but it will. I just think something will happen in the next 3 to 6 months. Whether it's our bill or the government will say the bill's not going any further, but we'll put something ourselves forward. If that's the case and people get access to it, that's all I want. I want people, first of all, to get the medicine here. Second of all, they don't have to emigrate, and third of all, they don't have to get off the black market.
Yeah.
And that's the 3 things, and they can be prescribed by a GP. If they're prescribed by a GP, they go to their pharmacy, and if it's medically beneficial, if it's medically efficient for that person, regardless of the condition, you know, regardless, you know, if cannabis can be seen as a treatment for epilepsy, chronic pain.
That's one thing I disagree with this guy here. Is it's a small, limited amount of people. The extreme cases like this are
Yeah.
Mine isn't life-threatening, but it's
Yeah.
kept me unemployed for 15 years.
Yeah. So where it's seen to be efficient, I think it should be prescribed. It's going to be a battle. There's no doubt about it. There is a battle, but that battle is being won. You know, hearts and minds. That battle is, you know, is ongoing, and that's being won. The hard battle is going to be in the Dáil, because nothing. I mean, obviously we as people we can push them to a certain point, but the law needs to be changed, and that needs to be broken. In fact, we should all break the law as much as possible.
Yeah.
As much as
Civil disobedience.
I'm breaking it.
I mean, that's what we're doing. There's many people. I tell you, there's many people in the community that are actually breaking the law at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Not because they're criminals, because they
No,
have
I'm
to.
actually June 25th.
Where? Because they have to.
Up here.
Because if I was in a situation like Kenny, or I have a child that was sick, I'd break any law. I mean, the law would not be irrelevant when it comes to your loved one to get medicine that you know could be beneficial.
Do you know when you're in a hospital room and you're going through and you're looking at your child going through the worst situations, like physically and mentally and everything.
Yeah.
You know, there's no law in this. No, all politics, all laws, all everything. It's out that window.
Yeah.
Get rid of the politics.
It's gone. It doesn't come into the equation.
No. So nobody. We're what we've said is nobody will be left behind. You shouldn't be medically discriminated because of your illness. The illness shows you. You didn't choose the illness.
Absolutely.
You know? So we'll keep fighting as much as humanly possible in the Dáil. It's not just people for profit. It's other TDs as well. They are on our side. Yeah. But there is kind of hesitancy and kind of putting brick walls. But then brick walls are beginning to loosen all the time. And I know it can be really difficult at times. Like I get up in the morning and say, I'm not have to go to this place again. It's just it can be cruel. But I know every minute will be worth it at the end. I know that for a fact. I know that if we keep positive, and I think we'll have a day that medical cannabis will be prescribed in Longford, in Athlone, in Mullingar, where people need it. And the likes of Kenny wouldn't have to go to Barcelona. His medications will have to be robbed off him. He'll get it here, and hopefully Kenny in the future will be a healthy human being, giving contributions to society like we are.
Yes, he will.
Yes, Bob.
We're going to wrap it up now, but once again I just want to say thanks a million to everybody who came here today, and we will end it on Simon says this and that.
Give us